And welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. I'm Nick Monticelli. Thank you so much for watching. Next Monday, November 10th, will mark the 50th anniversary of the most famous of all shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. This is a live look at Lake Superior right now, where the Edmund Fitzgerald sank half a century ago. It's now the subject of a new documentary in our Backstory series. Take a listen at the very beginning of the documentary.
There's 6,000 shipwrecks in the Great Lakes, maybe 10,000, but there's one that pretty much everybody on the Great Lakes knows about.
Very upsetting to see this.
The immediate concern is to recover survivors.
Yes.
My dad was on the Edmund Fitzgerald. I just remember hearing it on the news, saying, "Mom, I'm scared."
A freighter carrying a crew of 29 disappeared on Lake Superior during a severe storm last night, and so far, no survivors have been found.
As somebody who sailed on it, as a crew member, I want to know.
By the time the Fitz got into the worst of the conditions, there were winds of around 55 miles per hour, and those waves were 25 to 30 feet high.
More storms than any other ship. You know, this is a ship that was known for pushing big gales, a captain who believed he could get away with it.
You see Whitefish Point right there? 17 nautical miles from Whitefish Point is where the Edmund Fitzgerald went down.
That's the last time I talked with him. He said he was holding his own, and that's the last time I lost contact after that.
Now you're going to go pull up anchor and go back out in 30-foot waves, try to find a ship you know is already gone. And that is the sailor's code right there.
Well, if that open doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what does. This documentary is premiering tonight on Local 4 and Local 4 Plus. The producer of it, Adam Spindler, photojournalist Justin DePreco. These are two guys that spend all their time in the newsroom, so I have to preface this interview with please no swearing.
Well, I'm a house cat. He gets out in public more often.
Right. All right, let's talk about the idea. I know this is a passion project for both of you guys. When did you start realizing that there's so much here, there's so many stories to tell, it's worth at least one documentary, if not many?
Probably the Wikipedia entry. There's about 7-8 rabbit holes you can really fall down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's tough because there's just so much. You think you know this story, and there's more. Right. And we had to start with, though, our own footage from 1975. Yeah. Bob Bennett, rest in peace, reporter here, was up there the next day after the shipwreck at Sault Ste. Marie as they were pulling. You know, you saw the broken life rings in that open there. They were pulling those, you know, onto the dock and things like that. And there's these investigators walking back and forth, and we had to have. Wayne State had to warm up those reels for us.
They're kept in cold storage. And
the archives are actually kept in cold storage?
Yes. It's old film. It's in a refrigerator. They have to spend 24 hours bringing it up to room temperature before they can even pull it out of the canister.
Really?
Yeah, and we have tons of reels of other topics and things.
Sure.
WDIV has a huge library of things there that they're holding on for us.
So from a technical perspective, how were you able to get those old reels and then bring them onto the new format, which is just a little bit newer?
Honestly, it was a lot more simple than you'd think. You just get the lighting right in the projection room, point a camera at it really, really straight.
Okay.
Just hit record. It's a little bit more technical than that,
but there was some trial and error.
Yeah.
When we got the reels, it's like this big film strip thing, and I walked over to Wayne State and got it and brought it back, and we tried to use a film strip projector here and then get it onto our server somehow. Didn't work. So Justin, you had to go back to Wayne State to actually have them play
a projector too?
Have them play it on their system and just get the best we could in terms of audio and things like that. But once we got a look at that footage, you may have noticed the guy in the trench coat who turned to the camera and was like, "This is very troubling to see."
Yeah.
You know, some of the looks on those guys' faces in that moment when they didn't know what had happened.
Right.
And they're trying to make sense of it. that gentleman that you saw was from Oglebay Norton, the company that was in charge of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And he knew that it was going to be his responsibility at some point to notify these families what had happened. And I had never seen anything like that in any other documentary that, you know,
Those moments.
There's a bunch out there that you can watch. But yeah, that's what I think makes ours unique, is that we have this footage from just hours after the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. Went down at a Monday night at about 7:20 p.m. We were there the next day getting all this footage.
Wow. And, of all the stories and all the people that you talked to, what jumped out the most at you guys?
Mike?
Yeah, Mike was a really interesting character.
Who's Mike?
Mike Fornes has been performing as Gordon Lightfoot for the past 17 years in a tribute band. He was sort of, in terms of interviews, we knew we were going up to the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in the UP. And I thought, you know what, let's stop at this guy's house in Mackinac City on the way home and just see what he has to say.
Yeah.
Because Gordon Lightfoot not with us anymore. We couldn't go interview him, obviously. So what's kind of the next best thing? This guy he was close with Gordon. He was Gordon approved. So he's been out there singing this song, and he's the guy who performs for the families at the ceremony each year when they honor the 29 men who are lost.
Right.
So I was like, well, this guy knows pressure, performing in front of those families once a year, not an easy thing. So we just stopped at his house. We're like, let's see what he has to say. And turned out to be one of the most fascinating people I've ever met in my life. He used to be an NHL play-by-play announcer. He was a reporter before that. He's lived many different lives. And he just had so much perspective to give.
How difficult was the process of, there he is right there, kind of whittling this down? Because every time I write a story, it's usually, 2 or 3 minutes over what my time limit is. I'm sure in a documentary, you're probably going hours over what you want to do.
Yeah, we still are. We'll have it done in time, but we're, straight from here, I'll be going upstairs and
right back to the
to see our editor. But man, how much footage do you think we got total?
Each of those interviews, minimum an hour and a half. Some of them go for more than 2 hours. And
John U. Bacon, the author, who's kind of the de facto narrator of this thing. We were out for 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 or more. But that was just on Belle Isle. But honestly, we talked to, like 8 or 9 major players in the story, and all of those people, maybe 2.5 hours.
Unbelievable.
So
that was probably
How long was the process? I mean, we're looking at behind-the-scenes photos here of your trips and everybody you've talked to. When did you start the project?
I think the first thing we did was we drove up to Whitefish in May.
Okay.
So we've been working on it all summer, really.
Yeah, I would say it was a year-long project in terms of like planning, setting up interviews, things like that.
Yeah.
And I was notified 2 years ago that, hey, this is coming up in 2 years, start thinking about this. So, research, I guess, would have started then. But actually reaching out to people, getting clearance with the Coast Guard, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a process.
Takes a little while.
How excited are you guys for this actually to happen?
It's a weird feeling because, it's been a big project, and it's going to be a relief to have it out there and hear feedback. But I really just want the people who are in the documentary to be proud of the documentary. So
yeah. What are you hoping, Justin, is kind of the #1 takeaway for people after they watch this?
I don't know. I feel like growing up here, like Adam said, we all think we know this story, and maybe they'll come away with something that some nugget they haven't heard before.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like I've been up to my eyeballs in it, so I'm not even sure which nugget is new to me anymore. But yeah, I really hope.
Looking at it.
I will say I'm pleasantly surprised, I've seen the extended version that's going to be online. I love how not depressing this documentary is.
Really?
It's about a shipwreck. 29 men lost their lives. This is not depressing. We get into some intense things because we have to.
Sure.
We get into the theories and all that. But there are times where I just felt really uplifted by the final product.
Okay, now I'm watching. All right, Adam, Justin, thank you guys and congratulations. This is a huge feat. This is not an easy thing to do, so we can't wait to see. So it is from the mystery of the wreck to Gordon Lightfoot's song, so much more to explore and backstory. The Edmund Fitzgerald airing tonight at 10 o'clock right here on Local 4 and streaming on Local 4 Plus.